will be starting momentarily. So there are more seats on this side where you can get the glimpse of the Central Park. So that's the additional incentive. And Harris, we need you up front as well. And Ron is here. Okay. So the day has come. The first ever Global Brain Economy Summit is starting. And a warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for coming from different corners of the world. Thank you as well to all the audience joining us online at the moment. We would like to say a few words of welcome and maybe explain what the brain economy is at the outset, because last year at this stage we met at the Brain Capital Summit, and this year we moved one level up because we thought that the times require this type of shift. Why? Because there are important things going on in health, in brain health, in technology, also in brain skills, in democracy, and that all of this has to be anchored in a systemic way in a novel concept which was launched literally a few months ago, and Harris will speak more about it, that we call the brain economy. Now we are in a unique, wonderful venue. We are here courtesy of Steelcase that is hosting us for the second year in a row. And I would like to ask Ron Martere, the VP of Steelcase, to welcome everyone and say a few words about the place.
Perfect. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Ron Martere. I am with Steelcase here in New York, and a couple of people have already asked, like, what is Steelcase? Are you in the business of steel? Are you in the, like, why? What is this place when we're not hosting fantastic summits like this? And let me just share this. Steelcase has been around since 1912, right? So it's a long time. And we are thought leaders in the world of work. We manufacture, we design, we provoke, we do primary research. You'll see some of that published here in our Work Better magazine. I encourage you to take it. There's some topics here around well-being and healing spaces. So we do work in corporate, education, healthcare, and our mission is simple. We want to help people do their best work by creating spaces that work better for them. And we do that through the lens of a lot of things, including well-being. We want to think about how people can move, feel, think throughout the day. And you're going to see some of those ideas in action here in our Work-Life Center. So that's what this is. It's a Work-Life Center. We've been here since 1989. We've got similar spaces in Munich, smaller spaces in Paris, London. We're headquartered in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So if you want to see our ideas in action, you come to a Steelcase Work-Life Center. But we're thrilled to be a part of this. It really does align with what we're seeing and what we're hearing from people. We've interviewed nearly 70,000 people since March of 2020. That's an interesting date. Don't ask me why, but you know why. But what do people expect about work? What's important to them, right, as we think about working from anywhere and how we can work? And so we believe the workplace, the physical workplace, plays a major role in that, but it has to be done right. It has to be done more on human metrics than maybe sometimes building metrics. So we're thrilled to host the summit. We welcome you to actually enjoy the spaces. There's 3 floors. We're on the 6th floor. There's the 7th floor, and then during breaks, check it out, see some of our ideas in action. We have one of our newer solutions over here called Campers and Dens, which offers these layers of privacy. We've got people hosting. There's places to plug in. If for some reason we have to leave the building, faster than we'd like, there are staircases on each side of the elevator banks. So just walk down and you walk out to it's important in New York City to share those things. So welcome. We're excited to be here and learn with you. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Ron. Thank you so much. So the Brain Economy Summit is part of the UN Science Summit, the annual series of discussions of what matters in science globally. So we're delighted that this is the case. We also, the first day of 3 Brain Days. There will be 2 more Brain Days hosted by the European Brain Council tomorrow and the day after. And you're, of course, very warmly welcome to follow the discussions throughout this exciting part of the week. Now, we put together this event in a certain community of minds, and Brain Capital Alliance, EMEA, Rice University, and Neurocentury are the main organizers, together with HKS. But we are supported by many of your organizations, and it's of course crucially important that this is the case, because a movement like this, if I can call it a movement, can only sustain itself if there is a community of commitment and spirit behind it. So having said that, I would also like to acknowledge the generous support of our sponsors, Lundbeck, the California Mental Health Oversight and Accountability Commission. I always I repeat that every night. It's a complex name, but we're very grateful. And Hazel Health. So thank you for your support. And I will now give the floor to Rim Ayadi, President of the Euro-Mediterranean Economists Association.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Paweł. Thank you, Harris, for this great journey. And I thank everybody who has been with us today or is going to contribute to this great day. And we are starting a major transformative journey. I am an economist. I'm a professor of financial systems, and I've been always interested to work on how financial systems can be inclusive, sustainable, transparent, and responsible. And I think this is a great opportunity for the financial systems to show that there is a way to allocate resources into our well-being. Well-being, why? Because brain economy and brain capital starts from human beings, not the human beings as an agent, as a maximizing utility agent, but as a human being that lives, that has a brain, that ages, and that develops over time. And it's very simple. In reality, what we would like is to build economies that are working for the people and not extracting from the people. And this is what we would like to develop and ensure that our growth models are also factoring these matters in. And this is with the well-being economy. And I am very much interested to connect brain capital and nature capital, because again, the planet gives us a lot of resources. We are also resources for our planet. And this symbiosis between brain capital and nature capital has to work for a well-being economy and will be, in fact, pushed forward toward our, in fact, civilization. And I think this is what we would like to do, to contribute to this transformative journey. I'm so glad I met Harris, because he opens to me a new thinking, which is a neuroscience. I'm an economist. It's good and bad, because economists are simply, I would say they would like always to simplify things in economic models with one factor. When we think about 2 or 3 factors, we become a little bit, how can we do it? How can we maximize? How can we minimize? But in reality, as I said to Rola today, one thing that has really raised my attention is the ultimate complexity is simplicity. So we need to reach complexity to be able to have a simple recipe and device for our economy. So we need to go into complexities to find the simple recipe. So with this, I hope this day would be great for you. I am very much interested to have the discussion on the skills, because brain skills for our well-being is essential. And it's also a main driver for me for a healthy brain. So we have to be proactive, not reactive. Of course, a healthy brain is not only about absence of disorders. I've been saying this for many years now. And it's really how to make our brain healthier every day we are alive. And this is with developing skills, living well, having the environment, the inbuilt environment that allows us to see the light, to see the nature, to interact with the nature. And with time, we can create this symbiosis between the nature, the humans, and the economy. So thank you very much, and hopefully we will have a great discussion. Thank you, Paweł.
Thank you, Rim. Thank you, Rim, for already setting the bar high for us in decoding complexity, which is what we will do during the day. I would now like to welcome Paul Cherukuri, Vice President of Rice University and Chief Innovation Officer. We're delighted that Rice University is one of the key organizers of the summit.
Thank you. Okay. Let's set this down. Good morning, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me, and I don't need the mic, but I'll keep using it. I usually ad-lib these sorts of openings, but I'm told that I need to stick to script today so we can stay on time. But there are also many points that we want to discuss. And so I want to leave that with you all as we open the day. This is a very exciting time for us, and I'm glad to be here to kick this off. We are proud sponsors of this event. We are excited and thrilled that so many of you have joined us here today. This is a distinct honor to welcome you to this incredible event, this pivotal event, that's hosted by Rice and Rice's Baker Institute for Public Policy. We gather today to address one of the most pressing issues of our time, the state of global health, in particular global brain health. This is something that is very clear when we stand at the forefront of the brain-positive economy transition. You heard a little bit about that today. I think you're going to hear a lot more about this concept. It's a very new concept, but I think it's a thrilling one, and I think it's a unifying one for our world. It's a critical shift that will define our collective futures. At Rice, we are committed to reversing the loss of brain capital through groundbreaking initiatives like the Neuropolicy Program, which we will also hear a little bit more about today. But today's gathering is a testament to the success of these efforts. We've been leading these efforts for several years, and as we unite to explore neuroscience-inspired innovations and policies across various domains, the next 3 days, I believe, is a promise to be nothing short of remarkable. And today is the kickoff of an entire series of events this week. Now, just a few weeks ago, Rice hosted a groundbreaking event in Houston. I think you heard a little bit about that, the American Brain Economy, Economic and National Security Dialogues. It was a fantastic event, and it was packed as well. It's in collaboration with U.S. and Texas politicians, scientists, business leaders, and policy strategists, and we delved into the intersection of markets, minds, and the military. And that's an incredible Venn diagram if you think about that. That's an intersection that really fostered an incredible conversation. The discussions which highlighted the transformative impact of neuroscience on economic development and national defense are available on YouTube if you want to take a look. It's actually well worth watching. The situation for the global brain is actually dire. According to the Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation, the current cost of mental and neurological disorders across the lifespan is around $2.2 trillion annually. Concerningly, this is rising at a rate of about 5% every year. This forecasted economic burden is a stark reminder of the critical need to comprehensively address mental health and neurological issues. At Rice, we seek to help drive the systems change required in this decisive decade. Our Neuropolicy Program helps us monitor these shifts, learn about ingredients for transformation, and catalyze change with our partners and coalitions vying for a new way forward. Many of you in the room I respect and acknowledge as our partners, and we're thrilled to have you here. We are in particular grateful to the World Economic Forum and McKinsey Health Institute for co-authoring a WEF paper with us, which launched just yesterday. Let's spend today and the next few days, in fact, to study the brain economy transition and work out an action plan. We want this group to come together with some very clear, actionable goals. And that is the charge for today. So as you're thinking through and hearing all these wonderful conversations and having all of these, think about something that you know that you can achieve, that you can have as your one goal. That is one of the things that we must identify if we are to address some of the barriers that could help remove these tipping points that we're seeing. There's always tipping points in these sort of revolutions and these sort of transitions. Sometimes this will involve basic research, investing in that. Sometimes it's demonstrating success in pilot projects. This is also critical. Sometimes it's through public policy design, and sometimes it's through monitoring and transparency, and many times it's actually the sort of collaborative effort between all of those efforts. How do you actually pull all those pieces together? The continuum, I think, is what matters. And at Rice, we are a leader in leading new efforts in transition. For example, clean energy. Rice University in the heart of Houston, Texas, is leading the clean energy transition. And we are uniquely positioned in Houston in the energy capital space and deeply engaged with other major global players. Similarly, with leading researchers across many disciplines and the Baker Institute, and across the street from our university in Houston, which is right next to the largest medical center in the world. And many of you may not know that, but the Texas Medical Center is the largest medical complex in the world, and it's right at the doorstep of Rice. We are well poised to launch, lead, and execute on the brain-positive economic transition. We can, and we will, unite public, private, and philanthropic stakeholders to advance innovations on every front. Earlier this year, in fact, Houston Methodist, a prominent Texas health system hospital, won the top in the country, top 20 in the country. And Rice launched the Center for Neural Systems Restorations, an interdisciplinary center for neuroscience, research, and treatment innovation. The center advances state-of-the-art care for neurological conditions by bringing together scientists, clinicians, engineers, and surgeons to tackle medical challenges, like stroke recovery, for example, and spinal cord injury. These are two critical areas that have very little innovation over the last decade. Myself and engineers at Rice University's Neuroengineering Initiative are actually leading in partnership with physicians at Houston Methodist Hospital and Baylor College of Medicine. We're developing something called the sleeping cap. It's a concept that we came up with a few years ago. The sleeping cap both measures and modulates the brain and analyzes the cleansing flow of fluid that drains the brain of common metabolic waste during sleep. So it enhances your sleep and gives you restorative sleep, as well as enhancing your vital function, which is our most vital organ, which is the brain. We do this with minimally invasive brain stimulation technologies and working at the forefront of research across digital health, medical devices, biotechnology for brain health in general. It's a really fascinating technology that we've been able to develop, and we're still working out the kinks to get it into the clinics. But Rice is expanding well beyond Texas with major new international activities, and we would love to discuss this with you. We have a new Rice Global Center in Paris, and I encourage you all to come visit us in Paris. This is a wonderful, wonderful venture, and if you haven't been out there, we would love to welcome each and every one of you to the Paris campus. New collaborations with the University of Edinburgh in Scotland. We also have the Indian Institute of Technology and other efforts that are emerging in Asia, as well as Latin America. And I can't say too much yet because we haven't announced all that yet. But that was something that I needed to mention just a little bit. We want our neuropolicy program and our neurosciences projects and departments and centers to map to these global extensions as well. Rice is coming out, as we say, beyond the hedges of our beautiful campus in Houston to really help the world. And given that we are here in New York City at the United Nations, it gives me great pleasure to also note the success of our Rice 360 Institute for Global Health Technologies. Many of you may or may not have heard of this, but Rice 360 leads Nest 360, which is an international alliance of for newborn care experts committed to preventing newborn deaths in Africa. Through our cross-cutting programs and leadership, we are aiming to reach SDG 3.2 in our 4 Nest 360 countries. We are interested in exploring how we can spur mental and neurological technologies for the global South. Globally, Rice's Neuro Policy Program is helping to shape European unions and the Indian governments, as well as the Finland government's approach to brain health, and engaging with major European philanthropies that are looking to leverage their capabilities in culture and arts. In close collaboration with Rice's Neuro Policy Program, Cameroon, in fact, is advancing the recent Yaoundé Declaration for the Brain Economy to the UN General Assembly. Now, We are similarly excited about our recent collaboration with the McKinsey Health Institute and the European Investment Bank. As you can see, we are expanding. We are expanding our global footprint and our interaction. We are trying to pull the world together around these efforts. And this is through a systemic and systematic financing strategy for the brain-positive economic transition. These are all very important efforts. Now, Rice's work on the brain economy transition actually blends into our strategic plan, which will be revealed in about a month. And that emphasizes not only research and education, but builds thriving urban communities. This is one of the pillars, as well as generating sustainable futures and leading innovations in health, all of which are underpinned by responsible AI, yet another area that Rice is leading in. To sustain and grow this vital work, we invite funding and resource support. These are the vital oxygen that keeps our efforts not only alive, but thriving and growing. I'm confident that the insights and discussions emerging here today, and from this evening's incredible panels that you'll see, today's panels, you will pave the way for a brighter future for the global brain economy in the world. So thank you all for being here, and I look forward to engaging with you, and I really appreciate your commitment to being here, and I'm here to tell you that Rice is certainly committed to this, and we want partners to really push forward this transition in brain economy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paul, for this inspirational introduction. I think the best we could do is just to clone the Rice University approach from the innovations on the ground, like the sleep cap, all the way to the global action, including the prevention of newborn deaths in Africa. Now, last but not least, I give the mic to the great Harris Eyre, the executive director of the Global Brain Alliance, who will introduce the concept of the brain economy and then leads the panel with keynote openings.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Paweł. Thanks, a round of applause to Paweł for being a driver behind the organization today. It's so wonderful to see friends in the crowd, and if you're not a current friend traveled in from somewhere around the world, then you're a new friend. So this kind of feels like a family day today. So I encourage everyone to just essentially, well, I said this before to Lisa Marie, make 5 new friends today and tell me which 5 people you met that you didn't know before. But anyway, let me give you some more contextual slides, and I'll do it briefly so we can keep to time. And I'll just see that my slides are coming up. Would it be... Okay, brilliant. So we're here today to advance the brain economy. We want to talk today about refining and giving more sort of data-driven and science-driven ethos to this brain economy movement. The key point is that our brains are in the red. We have lots of brain health challenges, lots of stress. Paul mentioned the wonderful IHME data that suggests, well, it's wonderful that it captures this, but it's very alarming that the cost of mental and neurological conditions is $2.2 trillion to the global economy. It is staggering on the scale of climate problems that we have. So our brains are in the red and we need them in the black. We need them in the black because right now and in the future in the world of work, we need more creativity, analytical thinking, and resilience. And that's data that the World Economic Forum has published on the future of jobs. So right when we need our brains the most, we have the most challenges. And whatever we're doing now across hospitals, research is the cost of mental and neurological conditions continues to rise at about 5% a year. So we need a transformational approach. We need to take a systemic approach. That's what we're here to talk about today. Okay, so the cost of mental and neurological conditions, interestingly, is 2/3 of the gross national product of India, which houses over 1/6 of the world's population. So that's the scale of what we're talking about. I said before, the top 10 skills that we need from our brains are analytical thinking, creativity, and resilience. These are cognitive and non-cognitive skills. So brain capital is this new economic asset that Rim mentioned. It's brain health, which includes mental and neurological health, and it's brain skills. That's the two things that it includes. Very simple. Brain capital is brain health and brain skills. And this is what we're trying to promote and sort of justify and advance that is as important in economics as GDP or road and bridge infrastructure. We want brain capital to be mentioned on the nightly news when the news people are talking about GDP. So we're here to talk about this brain economy transition. The technical term is we're talking about a brain positive economic transformation. It's a global goal to stop and reverse the loss of brain capital. So we're moving from this brain negative state of our economy and society to a brain positive state or a brain healthy state. That's the simple, again, just orientation to some of the terminology today. It's wonderful that we're aligned to a Lancet paper that came out last week around advancing the economics of health for all. Talked about valuing health, financing health, innovating in health, and strengthening public sector capacity. So it's very aligned with what you'll hear us talk about today. We'll be touching on these 4 different points. Our global activity is accelerating dramatically. It's quite surreal. We never would have thought that we'd be where we are now. On this slide just shows wonderful activities in the US, in West Africa, in Europe. There's many things there that I translated them all to English. A lot of the news articles now are coming out not in English, so I have to Google Translate. But anyway, so the progress is wonderful. The Brain Capital Dashboard we published last year. I encourage, and we launched it actually at this event last year, so I don't want to go into it in too much detail. We look country by country at brain capital, looking at drivers, brain health and brain skill metrics. So you can Google it if you're interested. There's a Brookings Institution paper about it. And we will talk today about advances that we're making to the Global Brain Capital Dashboard, including sentiment analysis and interactive dashboard and new types of tracking over time. And we thank very much Lundbeck for their generous support of the dashboard. We do want today to get, by the end of the session, to talk about this Brain Economy Lab. This is modeled on the Systems Change Lab, which is funded by the Bezos Earth Fund. This is an approach to using our Brain Capital Dashboard data to develop recommendations sector by sector in aging, in social services, in health, in education, in environment, digital. What are we going to do to stop and reverse the loss of brain capital? What's our goal in the next 5 to 10 years for achieving outcomes? And what are the facilitators and enablers? So this is a technical, wonky project that we've just started in the last month, and we look forward to talking about it more. Paweł and Shiva will talk more about our recent report that was published yesterday on systemic financing approaches to the brain economy. This is a maybe 14-page technical document. Again, we don't want to go into all the details, but we have been working in a number of rounds of dialogues with EMEA and the European Investment Bank Institute on this work, and we have a whole panel on this. So in conclusion, before we get to the important keynotes, our brains are in the red right when we need them to be in the black for figuring out the future of humanity and planetary health. And the critical steps for us, and you'll see this throughout the day, how do we do an economic transformation? What's the playbook for this? It's about developing a shared vision and mission. So I hope you can see doing that today, and we need all of your help because you're all part of this shared vision. We need to identify and engage champions, align existing initiatives around the world. We need to pilot things. We need to monitor and evaluate. So that's what we're here to do today, and you're all now part of this ongoing dialogue and this movement. And all of your voices are very important, whether you're a neurosurgeon or a school teacher or a banker, you're all very important to achieving this and pulling it off. So thank you again. That's the preamble to set the scene. And let's get to work today. And now I want to get to the next most important thing, which is our keynotes, our opening keynotes. I noticed that the opening keynotes are all women, which is maybe because Paweł and I are both girl dads. I don't know. And that's the thing that's changed for me since last year is I have a baby now, baby girl. So anyway, so without further ado, our first rock star woman is Kana Enomoto, who's a great colleague. Kana leads brain health for the McKinsey Health Institute, which is really a preeminent really think and do tank now around the world. So Kana, I will hand over to you to kick us off with your first keynote.